Mr. Speaker, I rise to make my presentation on the 2023 budget. Thank you very much. Yeah, my maiden address. I'm also honored to be the first to address the floor with you, seated where you are. Another history maker, of course. Many people refer to, like myself do, refer to Sir Viv as the greatest Antiguan ever born. And lots of us refer to his second innings in Delhi, where he had 192 unbroken. But not many of us remember that his first time out, he only made 4. So I'm just asking for some, yes. There you go. Now, I listened, yes, there you go. I listened to the members on the other side as they deliberated, and I note with interest the member for St. John's Rural North, and he spoke a lot about airlifts and all these flights that are coming to Antigua and all these, a plethora of airlines. What was kind of curious to me, I haven't heard a mention, not even in the budget, of Antigua Airways. I don't know if that was an oversight, but maybe in the wrap-up we will hear more about that. Now, the ravages that we faced due to the pandemic should have taught us some lessons as to the importance of food safety, food security, food sovereignty. The state of having reliable source and sufficient quantity of nutritious food. But it is always said that those of us who don't learn from history, we are doomed to repeat it. Now, to quote the member for City West in his presentation on page 35 of his budget speech, yes, page 35, he said, Mr. Speaker, if we learn nothing else from the closure of borders and the paralysis of sea and air transportation that impeded the importation of food, we certainly learned that a thriving agriculture sector is necessary. During the COVID-19 pandemic, it was kitchen gardens and cultivation on disused farms that provided fresh food, replacing imports on which many had come to depend. No other country or no country should be placed in a situation in which it does not have access to sufficient food as its basic needs. Food security is a must. Quote direct from the 2023 budget. And I agree wholeheartedly. It's not a misquote. I agree wholeheartedly. But like I said when I started, if we don't learn from history, we are doomed to repeat it. Yeah. Because in the past, this administration has shown absolutely no meaningful effort to give support to local farmers. Absolutely no support to take local farmers to the next level. If we look at the government's budget estimates for 2023 in the business plan, and we turn to page 165, and we look down at issues, it speaks to insufficient planning, poor collaboration and coordination with critical supporting agencies. Example, Public Works, regarding fuel delivery, establishment department, regarding implementation of key recommendations. And we're going to tie all this back to what I said earlier, no support for local farmers. Absence of agriculture policies. Now, these aren't my words, Mr. Speaker. This is in the government's budget. Inadequate research and development activities and resource support. Lack of transportation to navigate the agricultural districts and to conduct quality assurance activities. Lack of drinking water in various departments and stations. Yet, we pay lip service to agriculture. I continue, Mr. Speaker. I go to page 165. Yeah. You now stop me today, you know. We go on 166, Mr. Speaker, and it speaks to lack of funding for major projects, inadequate surveillance and security for staff, dilapidated infrastructure at the Dunbar site, lack of technician to service maintenance equipment, and accessibility to necessary resources on a timely basis. Now, you would have thought, after identifying all these, the government did, that we would have seen a bump in the allocations to agriculture. Not so at all, Mr. Speaker. Not so at all. So tell me, how serious are we in supporting the agricultural sector, Mr. Minister? All talk. Maybe the good minister can explain how they plan to ensure that food security is a must. Yeah? Now, it is known, it's a fact, that our party, the party that I'm a member of, yes, I'm a member, card-carrying member, has been and will continue to be the party that supports agriculture, and this goes way back to the greatest agricultural minister in Antigua and Barbuda, Sir Robert Hall. You can't doubt that. And more recently, Brother Hilson B. Baptist. You know Brother B was touted as being, they regarded very, very highly, both locally and regionally. You know that. The only subsidy that has been in place for our local farmers is the fertilizer initiative between Brother B and the Kingdom of Morocco. What has been done since? What has been done since? No subsidy has been given to our local farmers, the agriculture community. All we hear is talk, 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 talk. Not even during COVID, when food was scarce and the dependence on local farmers was at an all-time high. Not even then did we get anything in terms of support from this administration. They put them outside. Okay. Yeah, the pandemic, the shutdown, showed us the importance of the agricultural sector and how important it is to our food security and our survival. Based on this, the allocation of 20 million is grossly inadequate. Of that 20 million, at least 80% is going to pay wages and salaries. At least 80% of that 20 million is going towards wages and salaries. It's clear that this government is not putting its money where its mouth is. Look, every year we hear the cries from farmers. Every year. About all of the issues that we are facing. And I say we because I faced it too. Faced, yes, past tense. Faced, because you run me out of agriculture. I couldn't keep up. I could not keep up. I didn't have the resources that some of us have. Okay? No, you will work with me. You will work with me. Now, I refer to budget. I refer to the budget, page 28. Page 28. Where it says to facilitate greater agricultural production, our government will conserve lands for agricultural purposes through the establishment of farmland trusts or special agricultural zones. I repeat that again. This is coming from the Prime Minister's budget. To facilitate greater agricultural production, our government will conserve lands for agricultural purposes through the establishment of farmland trusts or special agricultural zones. Well, you know, this is like closing the barn after the horses have bolted. We have taken up most of our arable lands, the best arable lands in Antigua, for housing. You as a farmer yourself, you know that. We have allocated most of our arable lands in Antigua and put house spending. So tell me where we see the establishment of farmland trusts and special agricultural zones now. What is left to conserve? The government has taken up all of the arable lands. Now they're talking about conserving. What's left to conserve? The Ministry of Agriculture is in disarray. I'm hoping that the new minister will do a lot better than his three predecessors, because from the very beginning, we saw that you weren't serious about agriculture. You had a man in 2014 who took over a year to visit the main agricultural station at Diamonds. Yeah. No, well, no, he wasn't fired. Yeah. 1 year it took him to visit the main agricultural station in Antigua, Diamonds. Chinese. To the Chinese, they're calling me every day. They're crying. No support for them. Not even drinking water they have. I just read it in the plan. The water woes that the agricultural community is suffering is so serious that many farmers are giving up. I have to go, yeah, take over that. I had to go to APOA on a daily basis to buy water to water plants. That is untenable. Every day I had to go to APOA to buy water to water plants. Easy talk. Talk is cheap. Poultry farmers are suffering. Roads to these farms. Roads to these farms are impassable, Mr. New Minister. Poultry farmers are complaining when they're driving, coming out with the eggs. Eggs are mashed up. Eggs shattering. It is difficult for farmers to bring food to the table under these conditions. But I want to applaud our farmers, because our farmers are the best in the world. They are the best in the world. You're asking our farmers to produce under these conditions. I am farming cucumber, melon, cantaloupes, and I'm getting water once every 3 weeks. I am getting water once every 3 weeks. Yeah, as though we're planting cactus in Antigua. But yet, the budget addresses nothing to solve this problem. Yeah, nothing to solve this problem. Now, I was looking through the budget to see what I wanted to hear from the minister as well. What they're going to do about the construction and repair of ponds and dams. Well, that's why you should have spoken early. It's your budget. Present your budget and stop waiting on us. But if you wanted ideas, we will be happy to give you. Our farmers have to be paying APUA thousands upon thousands of dollars to run water to the farms because the infrastructure is not in place. In fact, I have seen farmers with quotas of up to 50,000 and more. There are farmers inside here who they were allocated land. But because no water, then they said they couldn't do it. They backed off. The farmers out there who are trying to make a living, they would like to benefit from APUA's intervention. Maybe APUA can come and dig a well for them. Farmers out there would be very, very thankful if the lead technicians in agriculture would come and spend time on their farm. Show them what to do. Write paperwork for them. But those things aren't available for the average man on the street, the average farmer. But we are asking our farmers to do yeoman service. And they continue to do it, They continue to do it. Because farming is a labor of love. And hot sun pan farid make man hard. No, I stopped to farm in another field. Yeah, I'm farming here. Now, let's talk about the agricultural stations. The roads, the field stations of Christian Valley, Orange Valley, Cades Bay, they are deplorable. I'm saying this to you, Mr. New Minister. What I didn't tell you before, though, in case you didn't know, is that Cades Bay, the home of our black pineapple, it's the home of our black pineapple, but it's now a paddock, a grazing area for cattle. I am hoping, sir, that you will do much better than your predecessor. And then they do better. The outstations like Christian Valley, the one at Benders and Green Castle, they used to provide seedlings and ornamentals. They need help. They need help. I used to go over there and purchase seedlings. I can't anymore. They need the intervention from the government. The place over look like a ghost town, sir, in case you didn't know. You're new on the job, so maybe you don't know. All it takes is the right policy in place because you have great technicians, They are well trained, they are well schooled, and they are hard workers. They just need proper policy in place and the support of the administration. And we will get the job done. We won't have to be crying again as soon as Dominica boat can come here. The Ministry of Agriculture does not have a sector plan or a production plan. It's in here. You don't have one. I had the pleasure of serving as a member of the farmers group a few years ago. That was when the then Minister of Agriculture, Dean Jonas, they had signed an agreement with some Chinese to take over agriculture in Antigua. The farmers held demonstrations. We protested against it. And because we started making noise, they quickly invited a group of us to cabinet. Well, I didn't go because I didn't want anybody to think it was political. People like Mr. Greenaway, Lindley Winter, Miss Ruth Spencer, Georgie Purcell, all of those attended. Well, sad to say, the Chinese are back. Sad to say the Chinese are back. We don't learn anything from history. The Chinese are back. Now, we're not against anybody bringing new technologies here now. We're not against anybody bringing new technologies to advance the country and the farming community. What we are opposed to are these critical decisions being taken without informing the stakeholders, without speaking to the stakeholders, without any sort of consultation with the stakeholders. And that's why we protested and made big noise before. But they are back. Just a few days ago, they had big fighting at Diamonds in a big auction because the Chinese were demanding the equipment up there to come back down. Big auction. Yeah. Now, back to infrastructure and, look, it's right here now. It's right here. It says, the obligation of Antigua and Barbuda. We are to provide the Chinese experts with entry-exit visa and necessary assistance, and that's all well and good. Like I said, we have no issue with experts coming here to advance us. Remember I told you 80% of the 20 million. Mr. Speaker, 80% of our salary, of the allocation is for salaries. Wages and salary. 20% is to do everything else in agriculture. Of that 20%, we now have to go and coordinate office and accommodations for the Chinese expert group. Basically, we have to go build apartments for them down Greencastle. Build apartments for them in Greencastle. Coordinating neighboring relations to ensure safety of the work and life of the Chinese expert, which means now you have to go find security for them. More cost again, and all that is coming out of the 20% that left back from the 20 million. Then you have to hire relevant workers for these Chinese export groups. That's another cost again coming out of the 20 million that left back. Provide supported manpower and material support for these Chinese experts. Again, we don't have an issue with people coming here to advance us. But where the money coming from? Then cap it off. Here it says, we are to bear all the expense incurred in accomplishing the above-mentioned work. Where is that in the budget? Where is that in the budget? Yeah, this has to go back to Pac-Man. Now, Predialasny. Predialasny is a very serious thing that's affecting all farmers in Antigua Barbuda. All farmers. The Commissioner of Police said quite recently that the roads are a hindrance to the police. The police can't get to the farms. You know, stop the thieves them, you know. It's not stopping the thieves. But the feeder roads are so horrible that even if somebody spot a man on your farm and they call the police can't get to it. So then they waste time come. From experience, I'm telling you, they don't waste time showing up. Member for St. Paul, I am hoping that you yourself, with you and the member for St. John's Rural East, you would get together, bearing in mind how critical, bearing in work in progress so long, 0.02 farm roads that were repaired under your watch. What? Under this administration watch. 0.02 farm roads from 2014 to 2023. I hope you do. Look, I want to take, bogus list. Can't tell me because that's what I do. I want to take the time and the opportunity to commend the members of the agricultural community. These men and women who work assiduously under trying circumstances to provide fresh, nutritious, and safe food for the people of Antigua and Barbuda. Most of them don't have the assistance of APOA. Most of them don't have the assistance of APOA. We now have APOA to dig wells on our farms to help us out. That's what I'm talking about, sir. We don't have the resources about 50,000 for some. When we have asked the government before, put the infrastructure in place, run the lines to the farms, and then bill the farmers accordingly. But right now, if you go to ADC or any one of these places, they allocate a piece of land to you. You have to run the infrastructure to that land to start farming. ADC is a private enterprise? ADC is a private enterprise? Lip service. Lip service. Our fisher folks, the agro-processors and poultry farmers, they are asking for some help. They are all asking for some assistance. That's all I'm asking, Mr. Minister of Agriculture. Assist them. In the budget, it spoke to how serious it is to have food safety and food security. Then assist us in providing that to the nation of Antigua and Barbuda. That's all we're asking. Everybody's crying out, you know. The poultry farmers are crying out. The animal farmers, they're crying out. There's no proper storage, no proper communication between the Ministry of Agriculture and those who sign the import license. So we are out there, we are farming. You're farming cucumber. I am growing cucumber. When our cucumber come to shore, you already contact the supermarkets, etc. Say that in 3 weeks, I'm bringing in X amount, X amount, X amount. When you reach these places, containers are parked up in front of the place. They already imported what you're growing here. There's no communication between the Ministry of Agriculture and those who sign. Well, now I think you do trade too. You're the Minister of Trade as well, right? Well, so good. So right hand should know what left hand doing. And I'm asking on behalf of our farming community to make sure that what we are growing here can be sold here. And we are not being competed against by you, the administration, signing license to bring in food that we are already growing here. That's all I'm asking on behalf of my people. Okay? And since you're the Minister of Trade, you should make it a lot easier, right? And knowing what the left hand is doing. Look, we know that agriculture is hard work, eh? It's hard work. And it can be very rewarding. I worked in the agricultural field for over a decade, sir. Thank you very much. It can be very rewarding, but fishing is hard and dangerous. Vegetable production is tough. And I already spoke about pray their last name. For them know what you're planting before you. They know when your crop coming in before you. I am beseeching the people of Antigua and Barbuda to appreciate and support our agricultural community. Buy local. Buy local. Support local. Yeah. It's the harassment. I'm just asking for some respect for our farmers. As I was saying, it's the harassment of one local farmer that led to, well, not led, but contributed to the demise of a former Minister of Agriculture. Treat farmers with respect, the respect that they deserve. Now, when I saw the marginal increase in the allocation for agriculture, there was a little of optimism. Very marginal. Very marginal. But then, as I dig a little deeper, MP for I want to call you Sherfield Bowen, but I can't call you that thing here. I have to call you member for St. Philip South. As I dig a little deeper, as you did earlier, I noticed that the marginal increase is just to pay some so-called advisors, etc. Yes, some so-called advisors. In our 2023 manifesto, because the member for St. John's Rural South, Rural North, he boasted that our manifesto is better than yours. I remember him waving his manifesto. Rural South. Sorry. No, I have one. I have one. His manifesto is better than ours. Well, our manifesto spoke about making food security a top priority. What could be better than that? What could be better than that, sir? Let me lay you alone. Me you will talk later. No, yeah. It's the most expensive 6 votes in the history of Antigua and Barbuda. Now, I am asking Mr. Minister that we find creative ways to link agriculture with tourism. We had a Mango Fest, the brainchild of Brother B, Brother Hilson Baptist, and it was going very well, very well. Regrettably, it was taken over by somebody who, I don't know. I don't know how we put this the right way. But they changed it to a Piango Fest, and it was so bad this year. It was so bad that we had to go and buy mango and pineapple from private people to put in our Piango Fest, our national fest. Mr. MP, I'll be watching you closely. I'm hoping that, again, my watchword to you is that you will do a lot better than your predecessor. In neighboring islands like St. Lucia and Barbados, they have weekly festivals. Like in Barbados, I think it's the Oystins Festival. In St. Lucia, I remember the name of it in St. Lucia. Goes late, thank you very much. Where the fisher folk, the farmers, they get an opportunity to sell their wares, to market their things here on a weekly basis. And entertainers would have a chance to go every week. So the local people have a way to go and enjoy the good delicacies. Also tourists have a way to go on the weekend with local people, local food. Look into something like that. See, we had some plans, and I can share them with you. You want me to host a Papaya Fest? Happy for you. Look, I will do anything I can to make Antigua Barbuda go better. Okay? So if you think you're taking a cheap shot going to throw me off, if you think taking a cheap shot is going to throw me off, now, in fairness, I think that this budget does not adequately support the talk of food security and food sovereignty. Just another set of lip service. And I'm hoping, beseeching, praying, because whatever is good for Antigua is good for me, you know. Whatever is good for Antigua and Barbuda is good for me. So if this budget addressed the situation in a proper way, I would be. Let me just address some constituency matters as I wind up here. I dispatched a letter to the Honorable Minister of Sports because my constituents have asked me to intercede on their behalf. In Pickets, and you're a basketball player yourself, so you would understand that if you don't have a proper surface, if you don't have a proper place to go and play, you can't excel. You can't excel. No, because I'm coming to before you, man. So I dispatched a letter to the Honorable Minister of Sports a few weeks ago. And the letter simply states that the community of Pickets, we're asking permission to erect a basketball and netball court in Pickets Village, in the playing field area. I have not yet heard back from the minister in an official capacity. Positive word is coming? Well, I am hoping that that happens sooner rather than later, because we have lots of young people up there, you know, young, talented people who just want the proper surface to do what they have to do. My aunt, when I was a child growing up, was one of the top netball players in Antigua. She played on a team in Pickets named Rising Stars. My uncle was the coach. Since then, we haven't had a netball court in Pickets. So I am hoping, sir, that you would find it in your heart to agree. If I got no reply, no, I have not gotten. How would I get a reply? You reply to me? I have not. You no reply. Somebody get no reply. But I'm asking you to reply soon, because one way or the other is going to get built. Because the people of St. George required it, they demanded it, and they're going to get it. They're going to get it. Speaking of letters, I also dispatched a letter to the Honorable Member for St. John's Rural East. Yeah, hey, as the member for St. Paul says, nobody getting no free money in here. So, I also dispatched a letter to the member for St. John's Rural East. And this letter is simply asking her to intervene in a matter in Barnes Hill. Now, it was once a community center. And an area where people would go. There were some computers there donated by whomever, but that was under the watch of Dr. Quinn. It was a vibrant, active community center. Unfortunately, she lost the election to someone who didn't see the benefit of having the community center open. And so now it's, yeah, no, he took it away. He took it away. Now it's a daycare center being rented out to a private individual. The people want the community center back, so I went and I had a word with the young lady, and I asked her quite simply, how did you happen to be here, running a daycare here, when this is supposed to be a community center? Her response was, she is paying rent. So I asked her if I could see a copy of the lease. That's why I asked the minister to intervene, because now I'm understanding the rent is being paid to some St. George community group. Now, I asked the lawyer here to intervene, and he went down to intellectual property. No such group exists. But the young lady is paying rent every month. Now I understand that the receipt is written in a certain branch office in Potters. Now there are another 6 buildings on Potters Main Road, right by the basketball court. 6 shops. And all these are rented, except for the first one that is occupied by my predecessor. All the others are rented. And in speaking to the people who are renting them, they all say the same thing. They're paying rent to the St. George group, but is up by the branch office, they go and pay. Is up at the branch office, they go and pay. No such group exists. So we want to know, 1, where the funds are going. 2, how much have they collected since 2014? 3, who owned the group? We want to get to the bottom of it, because, especially in the case of Barnes Hill, the Barnes Hill people want their community center back. The youth want a place to go in the afternoon. Those who don't have internet at their homes or computers at their homes, they want a place to go and do their homework, etc. So, Mr. Minister of Sports, and well, she's not here at the moment, we will be following up with another letter. I was happy to hear the member for Rural East saying that, especially in the case of Factory Road, that somebody went up there to survey. Well, I'm hoping it goes beyond survey, because Factory Road is not only a health hazard, sorry. Yeah, the survey came after the presentation. What? Well, I'm hoping that that road gets fixed quickly. You see, that road is butt and bone between my constituency and Rural East. My constituency of St. George and Rural East. In fact, it is so bad that if you're coming west, you're driving in St. George, but the road is so bad you have to shift over to Rural East on a number of occasions to get away from these serious holes, and that can cause a problem with the motorists coming east. So I'm hoping that we take that as a priority and get that road fixed ASAP. ASAP. Now, I want to join with my colleague and my representative, the member for All Saints West. And he called on the Prime Minister to take back a comment that he made in his presentation. I don't know if he was joking, but he made a comment that some of us on this side will have to wait to get things done in our constituency. Now, like I said, I don't know if he was joking or if he was serious. What I do know is that if this happens, the constituents of St. George, along with the constituents represented by my colleagues here, will not be standing for it. And we will not be waiting 5 years to see this matter addressed. The ABLP administration may have the majority of seats in this House, but we control the majority of votes in Antigua and Barbuda. And I know a number of you here are students of history, and you would know about the Boston Tea Party. No taxation, no representation. That's all I'm saying. No taxation without service. So if you withhold service from our constituents, from the businesses in our respective constituencies, I just want you all to know we have options. We have options. There's no more single Pringle in here. Right now, Pringle mingling. Right now, Pringle is mingling. And I just want to say, as I look up in the gallery, I see my good sister Giselle Isaac up in the gallery. Thank you very much for your support over the years, my dear. And I just want to end by saying #, we unshackled.